Welcome to the Marketing Corner, hosted by Shawn Campbell, and we are thrilled to have you with us today. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a seasoned small business owner, or a marketing pro looking to sharpen your skills, you're in the right place. We're all about bringing you the latest insights, strategies, and real-world advice to help you thrive in today's competitive market. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get started. Here's your host, Shawn Campbell.
Good Saturday afternoon, Tucson, Arizona, Southern Arizona. Very happy for you to join us again at the Marketing Corner. I am your host, Shawn Campbell, and I am with one of the most positive dudes that every time I spend time with Bill Netherton from Professional Bartenders, I'm just jacked up. No one gets me out of the doldrums. No one gets me out of my woe is me attitude more than you do, Bill. So thanks for spending an hour with me today. It's just you and I today.
Hey, happy Saturday, Tucson. Shawn, great to be here with you as always on the Marketing Corner. I always get excited when I need to come visit with you and share stories to the community about business and entrepreneurs and business startups and all those great things.
Yeah, we're just kind of talking about this before we start. I mean, just it gives me goosebumps. I'm not being like, throwing any BS to you or the crowd or the audience or anything. But on the way here, I get a text from you. It's like, hey, you ready to go, buddy, and this and that. And I just get so excited because I got my music on in my car and I'm driving down here.
Got to get the vibe going, man.
I know.
The positive
it's like
energy.
I'm so blessed to have that with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, listen, I feel the same way.
So,
driving in, the weather's crazy good. People are struggling across the country.
Day. Yeah.
The temperatures are incredible. Let's enjoy them the rest of this week until it heats up next week, and hopefully it's going to come back down.
Yeah, so the topic of today, and there's no one better in Tucson to talk about this. No one better. We're going to talk about how to provide exceptional customer service to your clients or your customers, right? Because you've had a gig now. You've had a little side job for about 40 years now.
Yeah, bar catering, 1984. We're in our 41st year.
Yeah. For your 41st year with Professional Bartenders Unlimited. So I think if there is an expert in, you just don't pop open beers and serve wine.
No, listen, it's about the experience. Right. Our team is fantastic. This doesn't happen without the team. I have the greatest team in the world.
You do.
What it comes down to, just in its most organic sense, Shawn, is if you care about what you're doing and you care about people, the customer service and the level of service will generate with that. But no matter what you're doing, if you care about people, you're going to do a great job. So we love being good communicators, being great bartenders, great mixologists. We want to wow people because we have an impact on every person that walks up to that bar, whether it's a birthday, wedding, anniversary, graduation, fundraiser. We have an opportunity to impact that person for the rest of the day.
Yeah. And, I'm not going to throw a local business under the bus. So I just want to provide this as a recent example of, in my opinion, how not to do it. Obviously, I'm not going to name the business. I love going there. I love hanging out with my buddies. But recently, one of my buddies, admittedly, got a little bit out of line with the staff.
Right.
And, the staff, rightfully so, in my opinion, told him, hey, straighten up. My buddy got embarrassed, and he, quote unquote, I'm going to boycott this place.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of boycotts.
But yeah, and honestly, a lot of us were like, hey, no big loss. However, the manager, a couple weeks later, got fired.
Oh, okay.
Not cool.
Right.
Not cool. So I'm not very impressed by the leadership in this particular place.
Right.
Because in my opinion, they should have stood by the manager.
Well, because
this guy was out of line.
Yeah, if he's out of line, just own it.
Right.
And they could say, listen, we're going to give you a pause.
Right.
Forgive, and maybe not forgive, but forgive at some point because all of us should do that.
Yeah.
Everybody deserves second and third chances. Yeah. I mean, I've had mine.
Absolutely.
Thankfully, people have believed in me enough to give me a second and third chance.
But the first thing out of your mouth when I was talking about exceptional customer service, you say, I have a tremendous team. So if that happened in your situation, I'm sure you would have backed up your team 100%.
Absolutely. Listen, there's three sides to every story, Shawn.
Absolutely.
Yours, mine, and what really happened. but if you know what the truth is, you got to back your people up.
Yeah.
And respectfully to whoever it is.
We all saw it. I mean, there was no black and white to this. This guy was a jerk. He mouthed off to the staff. The manager told him to straighten up. he got embarrassed and I'm going to boycott. And it's like, fine,
boycott. We're not going to miss you. Have a nice day. I mean,
we'll all drink an extra beer in your place.
we want the business, but hey, we don't need it that bad.
Yeah. So, I mean, the message it sends, not only to the rest of the staff, right? Because I know the staff pretty well, and they're not happy about it, right? And what about to us? I mean, as you know, it's like, well, we kind of want to feel safe here. We kind of appreciate our staff.
You want a good vibe, and you got to support them and protect them at the same time.
Absolutely. So
they're not robots; they're real people. They're trying to do the best they can.
Right.
And every situation is different, but we all know when we're out of line or someone's out of line. We know we were taught that at a very early age. What's right, what's wrong, what the etiquette is.
Yeah. And when you're wherever you go, whatever restaurant, bar, coffee shop that you go to, I mean, there is a certain decorum that you as a customer, you owe the people helping you out.
I love the service industry. I love talking about etiquette and service.
Yeah.
And listen, it doesn't matter how much money someone has. Somebody walks in there worth $20 million.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I will treat you the same way. And I got to tell you, specific people like that, they actually want to be treated like a regular person because so many people bow down to them or treat them differently.
Right.
And listen, most of these people are self-made. They're just like us. They want to be treated the same. And you don't want to hover over people. Just give them great service, find out what their needs are, and then just keep moving.
Right. So if you were, if for some reason you had to relocate to another location, or you want to expand Professional Bartenders up in Phoenix, right? What would be some of the first steps that you would kind of, guide your team or build a team to replicate the same type of customer service you?
So that's a great question, and it's actually really simple, and I love this philosophy. So we go to Phoenix. I started this company out of the back of a van in 1984, just to be clear, right? And now I have this beautiful 3,000 square foot building.
Do you still have that van?
I do. It's parked out front of the
it's that one out there?
It's parked out front. I need to take it, have it washed. I need to start it up and let it run for a few minutes. That's my marketing and branding van.
Oh, okay.
If you're out there and you want me to park it at your business for the next couple of weeks, give me a call. 520-861-6112. We'll park my original 1977 Chevy van out front of your business, and we'll get some marketing going on for everybody.
It's literally a Tucson treasure. It's been around for 40 plus years.
So back to your question, we go to Phoenix, we open up a little store there, storefront, a shop, whatever, and somebody comes in and says, hey, listen, we want you to do my daughter's wedding reception a week from Saturday, and we go do this event for X amount of people, 100, 200 people. This is the opportunity right there to give such great customer service to a whole new group of people that don't know who we are, where they're all going to be a guest at their own party, which, as you know, is one of our slogans. Yep. And from that one event, you build your business one customer at a time. I think it might have been E.F. Hutton or somebody like that years ago in the financial services, 70s and 80s. And he said, listen, you take care of one customer, take care of them really well, and they're going to tell their neighbor, their friends, their family, their business associates. And the next thing you know, a month later, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, we have X amount of clients that are building our foundation. And then if you do the right things and do the right marketing, it can spread like a brush fire.
That's one huge advantage that we have at our age, right? We've lived through the dial-up phones, through the beepers, through the big, everything.
Yes.
To today's age of AI. But when it comes down to customer service, it doesn't matter how techy you are, how much your smartphones, or I'm picking on myself, my smart glasses. That doesn't matter. It comes down to
you look good in those, by the way.
Thank you.
It makes you look smarter. So listen, all the technology is great, and there's a room for it. There's room for that, but look, texting is great. If someone's in a meeting, you can still respond to someone if you're in a meeting. But I'm old school, old fashioned. The way that I built Professional Bartenders Unlimited was in my interpersonal relationships. I want to speak to you firsthand. I want you to hear the excitement in my voice. I'm more excited about business today in my 41st year than I've ever been. And to feel that way is actually shocking for me to even say that, but that's how I truly feel about it. I want you to have this great experience, and I want you to know that you feel confident in hiring my team and our services to do your only daughter's wedding reception.
Yeah. When you walk through like a tailgating event or whatever, I mean, if two people, you and somebody else, were to start at one point and get to the other, it would take you probably 3 or 4 times longer because everybody and
You know,
all the genuine relationships that you have established over the years.
and everybody has a different brand of beer to serve you while you're doing that.
Oh.
I'm going to meet you in the middle. I get to
Yeah.
have an 805, a Dos Equis,
Yeah.
a Barrio Blonde.
Yeah.
Now, it's fun. I love tailgating. Such a sense
Yeah.
of community.
Yeah, so the first segment's already gone by. So very, very fast first segment. We're going to be coming back, and when we come back, Bill, we're going to translate, the similarities between your professional bartenders and your home rentals, and how you've taken the same attitude and customer service from one business to the other, and how you've greatly succeeded in both.
Yeah, it's going to be a great subject. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah, so you're listening to The Marketing Corner. I'm your host, Shawn Campbell. We are back with The Marketing Corner. I am your host, Shawn Campbell, with very special co-host today, Bill Netherton from Professional Bartenders. And in case you didn't hear that last ad, you need to be a guest at your own party.
That's right, since 1984. Cheers,
Yeah.
Tucson.
Cheers, Tucson. What's going to be your first beverage of choice if you were going to have a beer tonight? What would it be?
You know, there's so many great beers. 805 is good, but I really do.
Yeah.
I love Barrio Blonde. It's
Yeah.
smooth, it's
Yeah.
crisp, it's clean.
Yeah, yeah.
It's great to have choices.
I tried the Barrio.
Rojo?
It was an IPA. It was a hazy IPA,
Yeah.
and it had a little bit of I think it was a grapefruit. And I tried that last week, and it was fun.
Was that at the networking event at the Sands Club?
No, it was not. And I promoted the networking event last week on the show. If you didn't show up, you missed out. I'm sorry.
It was a great turnout.
And a lot of the people I had never met before. It was a tremendous turnout. A lot of great networking going on. I was connecting everybody to try to establish some relationships there.
Right.
And it was just a phenomenal. And thank you for Melissa and Stacy at the Sands Club. They laid out the whole, all the finger foods, and they had a bar set up for us. It was phenomenal.
When you see people
Phenomenal.
with those events that you don't normally see, that's what you want.
Right,
You want to
right.
see new faces,
Yeah.
new business owners,
Yeah.
make new connections. And
Yeah.
I made a few good ones that day,
Yeah.
which are fantastic.
Yeah, and as I promised on this show, I was busy getting to know people and connecting people. And hey, I don't know if you guys could work, but set up a cup of coffee. I was doing that the whole time.
Right.
Yeah, you saw me doing that.
Yeah, just briefly to touch on professional bartenders and
Yeah.
this great weather that we're having in Tucson. Now's the time to get on the calendar before it gets too hot. I know next week's supposed to be hot, but I think it's going to come back down.
Oh,
But
yeah.
this is a great time of the season to have a backyard gathering, a housewarming, whatever you want to do out there. Roll a bar in, bring the beverages. For basically, you could have a party for 100 people, backyard wedding, for $20 per person, and that would be 4 drinks per person. That's $5 a drink, and that includes all of our labor,
Yeah.
bartenders, equipment, pickup, delivery, setup, cleanup.
There's no better deal.
You can't touch that
Yeah.
price. We get
Yeah.
distributor wholesale pricing, Shawn,
Yeah.
from all of our local distributors. We have
Yeah.
a number 10 beer and wine store license,
Yeah.
and they deliver right to my office building. So Tucson, give us a call if you're planning a graduation, birthday, wedding, special event. We'd love to help you out.
And speaking of homes,
Speaking of homes, my wife and I have been in the vacation rental industry for going on 18 years now.
wow.
And not my wife, my sweetheart, Judy, for actually 22 years tomorrow. It's our anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
She's the best thing that ever happened to me, hands down.
That's easy to see.
So back in 2000, I know, right? Thank you. Back in 2008, before the economic bubble burst in our country, the real estate market was on fire. We wanted to buy this house, which we did. We had it built brand new. It was a Meritage home, southeast side of town. And before the ink dried on the paperwork, the economic bubble in our country burst, and we were suddenly underwater like so many others. Long story short is we met with the guy who was a property manager, and he says, tell us about the property. And I said, hey, it's 3-bedroom, 2-bath. There's not a stitch of furniture in it. There's not even one piece of art hanging on the wall. And he says, great, I have some gym show people coming to Tucson, and they want to pay you $4,000 for the month of February. I'm like, holy cow.
Wow.
And I said, when are they going to be here? He said, they're going to be here in 36 days. Can you have the home ready? And Judy and I looked at each other and said, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's how we got into the short-term vacation rental business,
Yeah.
Airbnb, VRBO,
Right.
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
We actually have our proproperties under the umbrella of Airbnb.
And you have a name for the properties,
Yeah,
right?
Tucson Desert Oasis Vacation Rentals.com.
Yeah.
So we have 3 properties. I also consult and manage 4 other properties. So I'm actually responsible for 7 properties, all here in our community. And, there's a lot of reasons why people rent, not just to come vacation, because it is, championship golf, world-class hiking, birding in Sabino Canyon. But a lot of people come here, Shawn, for short-term business, gym show, rodeo, the seniors golf tournament. There's so many reasons. But for the local people, maybe somebody is selling their home and they need temporary lodging for 2 weeks, 2 months. Maybe someone's going to be doing a remodel. Maybe they have a plumbing issue, an HVAC situation. These properties are designed for people just like you, just like that, to come in and just bring your luggage and make a trip to the grocery store. These homes are very well appointed. They're all pet friendly.
Super nice homes.
Thank you.
Super nice homes. What you got the Bears Den.
Oh, there's the Bear. So my nickname's Billy Bear, which is a nickname was given to me at TGI Fridays back in the 80s. I don't know if you're aware, but you don't get to choose your own nickname. They usually get chosen for you, and hopefully you like it. And this one I actually love. So I was thinking about what I was going to call this property, and Judy says, "Well, why don't you call it the Bears Den?" And I was like, twist my arm, because. So it's got bear themed stuff in it. Like there's a bear paw back scratcher on the coffee table. There's a sign in the hallway that says "Don't wake the bear."
And the backyard is phenomenal.
We have a 500 square foot covered patio with an outdoor kitchen, barbecue grill, plenty of tables out there. There's a sign out back that says "Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but bears will kill you."
But one of the greatest thing, I mean, you just don't know how to upkeep these homes and make them very, very comfortable and a pleasant stay. But I love when you tell me the stories of the people that come by year after year from like North Dakota.
So 2 couples. They just left 3 days ago. It's a 3-day journey back home. 2 twin brothers and their wives. This was their 9th year in a row staying.
So
at
you're
this
doing
property.
something right.
Apparently,
you're doing
yes.
something right.
Listen, like I said before, when you care about people, it doesn't matter what we're doing. It doesn't matter what your business is. If you just care about people, and that's your mantra, everything's going to fall in place. So these guys come out, and we try to continue to reinvest, upgrade the property, keep it very well maintained, keep it super clean, backyard patios, pet friendly. But you got to reinvest, and you got to stay on top of things so that a small issue doesn't become a larger issue. So we're super grateful, and they know we care, which is why they've already reserved their dates for next year.
It'll be their 10-year anniversary.
And we've had the house for 11.
Oh, wow.
and they come out they started with a month, and now they're up to 2 months every year.
So again, providing exceptional customer service, that human touch.
Correct.
Right. So, is there when you've come across an issue with your rentals, right? I mean, what do you do because none of us are perfect.
So first of all, just to be clear, short-term vacation rentals is a completely different model than long-term rentals. Okay? Not a judgment, a reality. There's a reason why some people rent and don't own. There's also a reason why people choose nice vacation rentals because they can afford it. They're upper middle class, hardworking people, very respectful. In most cases, they already own multiple pieces of real estate. They want to come to Tucson and stay at a nice, safe, clean, well-appointed property. One of the biggest differences with me being Mr. Hospitality is what sets me apart in this business than everybody else is I personally meet and greet upwards to 95% of our clients, and not to look them over. They've already been vetted out through the system. I want to build a partnership and a relationship for the long term, because I don't want you to stay with us once. I want to be your go-to guy in Tucson, Arizona.
So, I mean, how many people do you think that are in the rental business actually do that? Because I've never...
Well, it's a great question. All I know is this. People say to me, you're the first owner that we've ever met. You're the first owner we've ever seen, because there's a lockbox or a keypad or a garage door opener code. And that's fine. Everybody conducts themselves differently. But I'm a hands-on, old school entrepreneur, and I want to build that relationship. And we have so many people that return year after year, and they tell their friends and family about us. They say, listen, you want to call Bill Netherton in Tucson with Tucson Desert Oasis Vacation Rentals. He's a great host. There's a reason I'm a super host, is because I care. So, in this world, again, of automation and AI,
by all means, you're not anti that, but at the same time, your strength is that human touch.
Yeah, listen, it's a combination of all these things together. I mean, why not use the latest and greatest technology to reach out to new markets and new people to get the word out? It's all about branding and marketing, but there's nothing better than the old-fashioned personal touch, meet and greet. And so we actually had these two couples over to our house for dinner. It was their 9th year in a row. They spent a lot of money with us.
Yeah.
They know that property better than anybody.
Yeah.
And they've seen the changes over the years. So I said to Judy, I want to just wine and dine these guys. I did ribs, corn on the cob, salad, and had some 805s for the guys.
Yeah, there you go.
And we just talked and shared some great stories. I've actually hiked with these guys now, led them on some hikes in Sabino Canyon.
Yeah.
I've golfed with them a few times.
Yeah.
So, but that's a long relationship.
Right.
And inevitably, if you like people, they become friends.
Yeah. We're about 2 minutes into before we get to the break, but the topic, in the next break, and we'll touch upon it right now. During this past break, you were talking about it's much easier to take care of your current clients, than it is to always try to find new ones,
Right.
It's the 80-20 rule that we preach all the time.
Exactly.
So we'll get into that more into the next break, but I mean, how much do you pay attention to that 20% that takes care of 80% of your revenue that's paying your bills?
Listen, there's always room for improvement, and I would be the first one to say it. We need to spend more time on that. As my company, Professional Bartenders, we need to spend more time reaching out and nurturing our current base, because these are the people that pay the bills consistently.
Right.
They've been faithful to us for a long time.
Right. Yeah. So we'll get into some ideas. And if you have a business, or you're starting a business, or if you're an entrepreneur and you want to ask us about that 80-20 rule, and maybe tell us, what you're facing, some of the challenges, whether it's customer service or the 80-20 rule, or, how you're kind of keeping tabs of your current clientele, give us a call, 520-790-2040. That's 520-790-2040. Between the two of us, we got over 50 years experience in, working for ourselves. So I think we'd kind of come up with some sort of a decent answer for you.
Give us a call, Tucson. Chime in. Let's get this party started.
Yeah. So again, you're listening to The Marketing Corner. I'm your host, Shawn Campbell, and today's guest, Bill Netherton from Professional Bartenders. We're back in The Marketing Corner. I'm your host, Shawn Campbell, with special guest today, Bill Netherton from Professional Bartenders Unlimited. And as promised, let's talk about that 80-20 rule a little bit more,
Yeah, so the foundation for all of us business owners in the community is one customer at a time. You build it to whatever that number ends up being. It's fluid, obviously, but it could be dozens, it could be hundreds, it could be thousands, depending upon what kind of business you own and operate. But, it's like one of the things I've been doing is I want to make a follow-up call to a customer after we've done an event for them, whether it's at their home, their business, whatever the occasion, doesn't matter. But make the personal phone call as opposed to just say, hey, give me a Google review, whatever. I'm also working on that too, per our conversation outside of here. Working on getting like 3 of those a week, and I'm on the right path, which is great. It's a process, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're building your foundation, and you want to follow up with your customers, because if you ask them, hey, what can we do to be better? If you solicit that, they're going to give you the raw footage, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I love the philosophy of the 1-minute manager. If an employee or someone does a good job, you should give them kudos for that. Tell them, hey, you're doing a great job, but then you move on. Same thing in the negative sense. If someone is maybe made a mistake or isn't doing something per the way you want the business run, sometimes we all need a swift kick in the pants. But then it's a tough love situation. And you care about your team. Ultimately, it all starts from the top and goes down. How are you training people? How are you training them to communicate with your guests, with your customers? How we handle complaints is key. Complaints are going to happen. If you deflect and blame, that's not the way to approach it. It's a tough pill to swallow, but I guarantee you, when you contact your client and say, hey, Shawn, I know there was a problem with such and such a thing, and I'm acknowledging it, and my pledge to you is that we're going to be better, we're going to do better, and we're going to try to keep that from ever happening again.
Yeah, a couple things real quick. In the service industry, I found with the clients I've had, like in restaurants, etc., they're kind of afraid to be out there online. You know, they're kind of afraid to be on social. They're kind of because they don't want the bad reviews, right? I've literally had restaurant owners tell me, I don't want to be on social media because I don't know I'm blasting our restaurant. But at the same time, right, and our buddy Rob Callison says this, like when you're listening to your reviews, good, bad, or indifferent, it's like you're paying a counselor, but you don't have to pay the consultant. I mean,
yeah,
you know, you're getting $10,000 worth of value and information.
It's free consultation.
Yeah, your customers are telling you what they love, but more importantly, they're telling you what they don't love.
If somebody always says you're great, right, even though you're not great,
yeah.
I mean, well, you're going to wake up one day and someone's going to post something that slightly negative, and you're going to overreact to it.
Right.
Listen, these are so problems to me are opportunities to make ourselves better.
Yep.
And I didn't know that. I mean, you learn. You don't wake up knowing this. There's not an exact rule book on these things, but at the same time, there's a lot of knowledge out there.
Yep.
We don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Nope.
It all goes back to the same thing. If you care about your customers and you make a mistake, they're still going to know that you care about them. It's how you respond to that.
Yeah.
How do you rectify the problem? How do you fix it? How do you make it better? And if you strive for that every day, my dad taught me when I was young. He says, "Son, listen, roll up your sleeves, put your head down, go to work, do the best you can, put in a full day's work, try to make the best decisions you can make. And if you do those things, most likely, Shawn, tomorrow will fall into place. It'll take care of itself."
Yep. So, you know, what you're doing there is you're, you know, solidifying that relationship you've had with your clients. So inevitably, you're not just top of mind. You're the only person they're going to call next time.
Yeah, it's an experience. You're not just getting a warm body behind a bar.
They're not going to shop around.
I always tell people, listen, we all have to cover our assets, as they say, from a liability standpoint. I love that phrase, cover our assets. But listen, people have worked hard for everything that they have. And when you're serving alcohol, it's a big deal. Whether we know somebody personally or not, Shawn, we have a moral obligation and responsibility to make sure that people that are driving home after any event get home safely, and that the other folks that are driving the opposite direction also get home safely. So we talk about alcohol awareness a lot with professional bartenders.
100%,
you can never have too many conversations about good customer service and the safe serving of alcohol.
Right. And, you know, I always kind of joke on the show that I go out, blah, blah, blah. I Uber everywhere I go, ladies and gentlemen. I Uber everywhere, so I'm responsible that way. And just in case I'm having a great time, I don't never worry about it. So
safety
for the
first,
record,
man.
I Uber.
Hey, listen, guys, there's no reason for anyone to drink and drive.
Nope.
There's so many alternatives.
Nope.
Call a friend, call a family member, spend a few bucks.
Yeah, especially when you drive a red car like I do.
Especially that car. It's like a red flag drive. Pull me over. I've had too many beers. So no, there's no reason to drive.
Right. So that's our public service announcement.
Drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly.
Have a great time. You don't need to drive.
Kind of off topic, but I've always kind of wondered this from different bartenders' perspective I've known. What do certain drinks give you a heads up? Like if you're at an event and you got the full bar there, right? Somebody comes up and they, like me, I get a Mick Ultra, right? What does that initially tell you about me?
Sounds like you're trying to watch your calories when I see a Mick Ultra. I think of that. Wait a minute. I went to a bar the other day to meet some classmates from Canyon de Laurel. They get together once a month. And I see actually the people on both sides of me. I went to place a drink order, was drinking Mick Ultra, and I'm thinking, gosh, why don't you guys get a good beer? I mean, listen, from a calorie, it's not bad. Don't get me wrong.
If you watch Landman, have you watched Landman?
Oh my gosh, Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah, so when he said that Mick Ultra doesn't have any alcohol, I'm like, that's it. I can say that wherever I go.
Well, they can say that about Coors Light too. It's like drinking water. I said, hey, I'm getting hydrated at the same time.
Right. But you know, I do have a point to this, right? If someone orders a Cosmo or a Martini or a Margarita, if a dude orders a Margarita, we won't go there, but
no, hey, I had a margarita at a restaurant on the north side the other day, but I had a side of Grand Marnier, so I made mine into a Cadillac. Hey, it was happy hour. I just got the well margarita, but I added the Grand Marnier, and that's the ticket right there.
But it does give you a little glimpse of who you're dealing with, right? That's kind of the point I'm taking. It's like you're getting some reconnaissance on the crowd, on this particular person, and you know.
Did you know? I'm sure you're aware of this because you're a consumer.
Yep.
for you consumers out there listening, a shot of whatever hard alcohol or a 6-ounce glass of wine or a 12-ounce beer, they all have the same alcohol content.
Yeah. So, and drink a lot, make sure you eat and whatever.
All those things factor in. What's your size? Have you had a meal? Are you fatigued? Are you tired? There's so many variables that affect all of us. So, we all have to just be responsible. The main thing is have fun. Just don't drive.
Right. So getting back to so when you get reconnaissance on somebody, right? Hey, this guy ordered a porter or a stout or whatever. It gives you a little bit of insight of who they may be and how you kind of conduct yourself with them. Does it?
Well, yeah. I mean, like if some guy's going to order some kind of a light beer, doesn't even matter what it is, or the guy's going to order a stout or a porter or a Guinness. I just tells me this guy has better taste buds. He appreciates good quality beverages.
Yeah. So what I would do, and I've never been a bartender, right? But I would take that in consideration. But I do this when I meet a potential new client. Especially when I was in outside marketing, I am giving them that eye contact. However, when I can, I look down at their watch. I look behind them, see what they have photos of, if they got golf trophies or whatever. I find something that I have a commonality with them. Right. And then I pound on that. Hey, do you golf? Hey, I went out a few months ago to blah, blah, blah.
There's so much information out there between LinkedIn and social media and Facebook and all these things. I try to do research on my clients. If a company calls me, I'll go to their website and listen up out there, Tucson. Go to their website and see who's on their board, who's the board of directors. Oh my gosh, I know 3 of those guys out of 12, and I really want to get this gig. I'm going to reach out to these guys and say, hey, can you put a good word in for me? Or you personally use our services. What do I need to do?
I'm all for name dropping, but sometimes people do it incorrectly.
100%. There's a way to do it.
Yeah, there's a way to do it properly, kind of casually. But I don't want to get too specific, but I experienced this just yesterday, and I just dropped my head. I'm like, oh my God, that was horrible.
One of the things I like to do with people, especially if it's something important, is it's okay to actually ask them and use this word for a favor. The word favor is a powerful word.
We've talked about this a few times. Yes. I love this.
And the other, so that's a great word. The other word is, listen, we're not I don't like to use the word cheapest because that sounds cheap. We're not the least expensive in town, but we are the best value and the best bang for your buck, which with the level of service that we're going to provide you guys with from the time that you complete our online submission form at probartenders.net, by the way. .net. That's a brief questionnaire. It takes less than 60 seconds. It gives us all the intel. From the time that you do that till the time Sistine, my office manager, responds to that and gives you a personal phone call to find out what's going on, we want to have that personal touch. So you have a go-to person at the office, and Sistine runs that thing like a nerve center.
Instead of cheap, I always say I'm very competitive. Right? And there's a reason why I say that, and there's a reason I want to be competitive with my type of clients, because I need to leave enough meat on the bone so when they want to run ads, I'm a good investment still. I'm still under that threshold of what they were expecting to invest. But they still get the quality, they still get the commitment, they still get me.
Competitive is another great phrase. Value is the other phrase. Asking for the favor is okay. When you use that word, certain antennae go up on us, and it gets our attention a little bit more than it normally would.
So if you're driving around Tucson and you see all these golden nuggets drop around everywhere, those are from Bill and I right now.
That's absolutely everywhere.
Dropping golden nuggets everywhere around Tucson. If you have any questions, in particular about your business, 520-790-2040. I got Mr. Bill Netherton in the studio from Professional Bartenders Unlimited, and the name of your rentals is
Tucson Desert Oasis Vacation Rentals.
Yep. So we got one more segment. You're listening to the Marketing Corner. I'm your host, Shawn Campbell. We'll be back in a few. We're back in the last segment of the Marketing Corner. I'm your host, Shawn Campbell. This is our 31st episode.
You're kidding.
31st episode already.
Wow.
So I guess
congratulations.
Thank you. I guess we're doing some things okay. And then I need to make sure I go through my little list here to thank
your sponsors.
All the sponsors. We're going to start with you, Mr. Bill Netherton.
That's right. I am a sponsor. I almost forgot. I'm a co-host.
And you're a co-host today. You're a man of many hats today. Yeah,
You know, I try to wear them both really well, though.
Yeah,
Whatever it
yeah.
takes.
Yeah. Then, of course, David Bradley from Medicare A to Z. He's killing it. He just opened up an office in Green Valley.
Yeah.
And David, if you're listening or if you listen to this later, he's the epitome of what we preach all yesterday. What do? A big a client appreciation day.
Right.
You know, he rented, I forgot the name of the place down in Green Valley. I'm sorry, but I wanted to give them a plug. But he had all his clients, invited all the clients.
Great
down
idea.
there, and yeah.
Marketing 101, man. Show some appreciation.
He invested a pretty penny, but all of his clients, a lot of clients showed up, and we're exactly what we're talking about, taking care of your clientele. So love that. Absolutely love it. Candace Eaton, who would be from Seaton Photography, she'll be in next week as my co-host. Her and I, we'll announce it next week. Her and I got a little
something going on.
Something going on in November that will let you know. They may kill me, though. Literally may kill me.
Wow.
Danny McPadden from Last Bridge Media, phenomenal videographer. Juan J.D. Delgado from Roofs Are Hot gave me a call this morning when I was in the middle of my run this morning.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you doing? I'm running.
I'm down a guy. Can you help me do a roof?
Yeah. Mo Russo, a good buddy of mine, executive and business coach and newly published author. I got 3 of his new books on my desk to read. Yeah. Robert Callison from eForce Marketing. Tremendous in websites.
Robert does a great job.
SEO.
Just updated our Tucson Desert Oasis Vacation website from 3 properties. There's 6 of them on there now, soon to be a 7th. Super excited about that marketing campaign with you guys.
Yeah, and the 2 newest sponsors, Spark Project Collective, Johnny from there, and Kay is a tremendous. If you want more information about Spark Project Collective, I mean, just give me a call. It's a tremendous nonprofit. And Adelie Hunt, realtor. So she was at the event Tuesday, made a ton of connections.
It's a nice lineup you've got going there. You're building a good customer base with your sponsors.
Not bad. And you know, the best thing about you're all just tremendous people. You know, if I run into any of you guys anywhere, I'm like happy. And I'm very lucky to have this.
The feeling's mutual. I love co-hosting the show with you. We're covering lots of good content and topics here in the community.
Yeah. So what did we say we're going to talk about this last event?
That's a great question. You know, there's vacation rentals, there's beverages, there's so much great stuff to talk about.
Yeah. You know, one thing that you're low key, and we don't talk enough about this. When you and I, you know, like every conversation, I remember back in the quote unquote the day, you were one of the reasons why I wanted to do a podcast. I wanted to do a show just because of our conversations.
I remember the first one I did with you. That was my first podcast I'd ever done. It was all Greek to me.
Yeah, in my office downtown, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
Right across from La Suprema Works.
Yeah, we got John on the line with a question.
All right.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good
morning, John.
Billy.
What's the good word?
Here's a question for you.
Okay.
That I'm pretty sure you might know the answer to, but I'm not 100%.
Pressure's on.
I've seen this hack several times. I've heard about it, but I've never done it.
Okay.
Can you take a handle of Fleischmann's or the cheapest rot gut vodka you can find at the store on sale?
Okay.
And run it through a Brita 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and it comes out tasting, I know you can't taste vodka, but tasting like or not having the hangover of a cheap vodka.
Being that is a great cheap vodka, I have not heard that hack. It sounds interesting and curious. I don't know how accurate that would be, but you know what, John? There's one way to find out. You have a Brita?
I'll come over to your house and we'll try it out, Billy.
I tell you what, that's
I think
interesting.
John gave us a homework assignment.
That's a great question, though. You know, it makes me think of Costco, where they were saying the Costco Kirkland vodka. Some people were saying that it was similar to like a Grey Goose or one of the upper level vodkas. I don't know if that was just a wives' tale myth or not, but I will say this: the Kirkland vodka, or their Kirkland American-made vodka over there, is a great vodka for the value. You can't touch it.
Interesting.
Yeah. John, thanks for the call. That was fantastic.
I'm just wondering if you could even do better with a handle of Fleischmann's and running it through a Brita 3, 4, 5 times.
Hey, you know what? It could work. It could work.
So, John, next week we'll have an answer for you for sure. All right. So,
all right, I'll call back. Thank you.
Yeah. No. We'll let you know on the air for sure. But thank you so much for calling in. So, that's our assignment for this week.
Have a great day.
We got to do this for. We got to practice what we preach.
Oh boy.
And come through for our clients, which is our audience as well. So, we got to get a Brita. Pick up the cheap vodka.
Walgreens, here I come.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, John.
So that's a good one.
Yeah. So here's one thing I was going to touch upon. I don't think I give you enough credit for, we never talk about leadership, right? So, I mean, in being a leader that you are, I think what sets you apart from 99% of the people that out there that call themselves leaders, to be honest, is that you have a servant mentality with your staff. It's like, how could I serve you? How could I help you? And how could I help you reach your goals? How could I help you, enjoy your job more? And not a lot of people have that. Was that just kind of ingrained in you? Or is that just something that you learned because of
I've been so fortunate to have some wonderful mentors in my life that people that, they see you and they believe in you, they believe in your work ethic. The best way to lead is by example.
Okay.
If you are asking any member of your team to do something, you got to be willing to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And listen, back in the early days when I was bussing tables for $1.25 an hour in the Gold Room at the Westwood Look Resort, and then I was a dishwasher, I was a pot washer for $2.29 an hour.
Wow.
I mean, it was the dirtiest job in the house, Shawn, but I made that job look like the cleanest cleanest job in the house. Because you can have the greatest chef in the world, like a Janos Wilder or someone like that. But if they don't have a clean plate to present their food or their entree with you, so everybo's part of the cog. Everybody's part of the wheel.
Right.
We all make up the cogs within that wheel. So lead by example. Train. If people aren't doing things properly when we go out in Tucson, don't hold it specifically against them. They've been not trained properly. Train them up, how to communicate, how to greet people at the door, how to thank them before they leave your establishment. They just came in and dropped who knows how much money. So acknowledge them. And if you just do a couple of those basic things, whether you're a mom and pop operation or a large corporate entity, the basic rule set's the same. Train them up, have fun what you're doing, provide a good, clean atmosphere, and give people great customer service.
And one of the indications when I see an organization where the leader is very much an I, and takes all the credit for what his team does, I mean, that's just a recipe for disaster.
It is. And it's some people do it not knowingly, but if you try to get out of that mindset and realize, years ago, I was the face of professional bartenders. And I thought, no, I want my team to be the face. So when someone from Ventana Medical or whoever calls us, they don't just think of Billy Netherton. They think of Sistine, Brian Wilson, Joe Cedillo, Ricardo, all these wonderful team members that we have that are out there serving the community. So I want them to have like a postcard snapshot of the team.
And that's just such a huge misstep. It's just one of the things that just drives me crazy. You know what I mean? In the time that I did spend at corporate, I think I've shared this story a few times on the show. It's like the first exposure I saw that of a servant leadership, and I didn't know that's what it was called back then. Was when my dad was in the military, and we're in between assignments, and we're visiting his dad, my grandfather, and he was a manager in leadership with Lockheed, so he took us to work. Right, and I'm like, oh man, my grandfather's, he's this and that, whatever. Company. He's the boss, and I'm going to be like, I'm going to see him just, cracking the whips and this and that, whatever. And we're walking through this huge building where they're building, big jets and everything.
Massive factory.
Brings his team together. I'm like, oh, here we go. He's going to lean it. You know what he did? How was everybody's weekend?
Just the opposite of what you anticipated.
How'd your son do in his game this week? How's your wife doing? Is your dog feeling better? And he talked zero business.
All personal.
It was all personal. And it blew me away. And I'm like, and it never really, I've always remembered it for a reason, But obviously, several years later is when it hit me. Because when I did see that leader that just like cracked the whip and didn't give a about nobody on his team.
You know what happened after he had that conversation with his team?
Yeah.
Not just his employees, his team.
His team.
They all went back to doing whatever they do.
Yeah.
And those are what you call dedicated soldiers right there.
Yeah.
Dedicated people
Yeah.
that didn't come in and say, hey, how's the project going right now? He just wanted to find out how you were doing personally.
Yeah.
It's a difficult question. Be careful when you ask that to people, because if you don't really mean it, you maybe shouldn't ask it.
Oh, he was very genuine.
Right.
Very, very genuine. He was a genuine concern. You know what I mean? And the level of respect that you could just feel.
Sure.
You know? And I see leaders today that just are the total opposite.
We need to be building leaders.
Right.
They're not born. They're created. They're nurtured.
Yeah.
It's all about training from the top.
I think your job as a leader is to develop the people within your organization to not just eventually take your position, but be better than you.
I'm glad you brought that up, because listen, don't be afraid to surround yourself with people that are better and smarter than yourself.
Yeah.
And in my case, that's kind of easy to do. But
You and I both.
But surround yourself with quality people.
Yeah.
Treat them the best you can. Treat them like gold. Do
Yeah.
as much as you can. I wish I could do so much more for my team right now. We've had lots of struggles over the years, and that's a whole nother show we can talk about.
Yeah.
And how you overcome those struggles.
Yeah.
But you got to stay positive. You got to show up every day.
Yeah. Bill Netherton for Professional Bartenders Unlimited. Thank you for being here. You can reach her, look at their website at professionalbartenders.net.
Probartenders.net. Or 520-721-1577.
Thank you for listening to Marketing Corner with CNB.